What's going on, everyone? Seth Miranda here for Adorama TV, coming from the Streamlab right above the Adorama store itself at 42 West 18th Street. If you're in New York, come stop on by, say what's up to Maury on the sales floor. He'll be more than happy to see you. But for right now, you're watching me on the new Fujifilm X-S20 and the new Fujinon 8mm f3.5 lens. What's going on here? Well, do you remember the X-S10? It was a nice jammer little camera with a lot of features in a small package, which was great. It was a nice little powerhouse, and the same kind of thing is happening here with the X-S20. So we've got the 26.1 megapixel APS-C sensor, the X mount. We have all those Fujinon lenses to match up with this camera and try out all these different styles of looks that you want. But now you've got a new processor. You've got the X Processor 5, and with more processing power means more ability, and a lot of processing power means you got things like improved autofocus, IBIS, more video capability, and that's exactly what's happening right here. So you're looking at me on this at 4K 60 via the USB-C port. This is kind of important, and we're gonna come back to this a little later, but right off the bat, it's really built for content creation without needing a lot of accessories. So let's talk about the video for a second. You got 6.2K 30 frames per second. You've got 4K 60 422 10-bit internal right there into the card inside the camera, not external to HDMI, which is nice right there in the palm of your hand. And you've also got 2 of 40 frames per second at full HD 1080. If you guys want to do some slow-mo, you've got that capability as well. There's a nice little camera as far as just being able to not carry a lot, but do a lot of things with it. The autofocus definitely does feel improved. As someone that's used all the XH cameras, XH2, XH2S, the XT5, I can tell you that the autofocus does feel it's like it's updated. As soon as I picked it up, I was like, whoa, this is quicker, snappier. It seemed like it was recognizing subjects right away. It was really nice. I could definitely feel like it was just vamped up. And even the shape of the autofocus points is matching the new autofocus systems that we're seeing in the higher end cameras. So that's really cool to see here. And of course, that's thanks to the more processing power you have with the updated processor. Now, the other thing that they updated in this was the IBIS, where you're getting 7-stop stabilization. I saw Kaydence and we met up at the park and we did some quick shots. I mean, nothing crazy, just looked for some nice even light and some shadow, got out the Manfrotto halo and diffused some light for her, bounced some light back in, cleaned it up a little bit, really shaped her a little nice. She's got these eyes that really kick when you hit them right with a reflector. And I thought the shots were exactly what I expected. Really nice color, and it was really nice image quality from Fujifilm. I mean, we've seen this time and time again, but what I did notice is that the IBIS was 7 stops, and I definitely felt it. So while the autofocus was there for me catching her eye, the IBIS was there for me just as much. We were about to cross the street and I saw this crosswalk and I was like, you know what, let me just try it out. I slowed the shutter down and I just let the cars behind her whiz past at a slower shutter speed. I went down to 1/8 of a second and it still looked tack sharp in daylight. No strobe. This is just ambient light, which means that the IBIS was really doing something. Yeah, she had to hold still, and yeah, I held as still as possible too, but 1/8 of a second in broad daylight, pretty nice. Now I was looking through the shots and yeah, the autofocus was there finding her eye and sticking with her, and it wasn't a problem as far as things being out of focus. I was keeping a lot of shots here in a really short amount of time. I mean, we're moving fast for these videos for you guys, so it was really nice to have a camera that just kept up with me. Now I'm in vlogging mode right here, which is really nice. It's an actual mode on the dial. We didn't see that on the X-S10, but it's actually a mode here on the X-S20, and it's got the eye autofocus engaged. I'm looking at myself with a flip out screen, which is great for recording yourself, obviously, but it's also just there. You click into vlog mode and you're just doing this. Speaking of that, let's go back to that USB-C port. So usually with cameras, when you take the USB-C and put it into a computer and you try to use it as a webcam, you have to download a webcam utility or some kind of plugin so that the actual software you're using will even see the camera as a video device. A lot of other times you're going to be using the HDMI port to a capture card and try to get out the full resolution. Well, here I eliminated all that. This doesn't limit the USB-C video capability here. A lot of other brands, the time of recording this video, when you do this USB-C hookup, you get maybe 560p resolution, maybe. And some even charge you a monthly fee to use 1080p in their own software. Here, you're getting 4K 60 right out of the USB port, and it's powering the camera as long as there's battery in there. So I don't have to need something like a dummy battery, an AC adapter, none of that stuff. I'm just powering the camera and getting a video signal out with just one cable. Very nice, especially if you're someone who wants to travel with this camera and just put it down and get on a call or create some content this way or just stream, right? Now, you are going to suffer a crop in 4K at a 1.18 times crop, which isn't that big a deal at all. Now, I will also say that a lot of platforms aren't streaming in 4K either. So what I would do is keep this camera how it's set up, and if I have a channel, I can record in 4K, the best quality I can get for a platform like YouTube, and get going with it. But then if I got to stream, I click it into HD 1080 and I'm able to stream with the same setup. Nothing changes and I'm good. The 4K is going to process a lot of data, right? Which means the camera is going to heat up, which is why I'm saying you might not need to stream for like hours on end with the 4K. But to kind of mitigate that, Fujifilm has the cooling fan, right? So they have this optional fan 001 accessory, and it actually works on the XH2, XH2S, I think the XT5, and right here on the XS20. So it's a really nice cohesive system with the same lens mount, using all your lenses, battery type. You'll be able to use your batteries across, you don't have to buy like multiples of different types of batteries. You can just, acquire batteries of the same type and get going. And now you're looking at a fan accessory that if you use some of your other cameras for video and you want to just watch yourself as far as heat goes, you can put it on there, or you can slap it on the back of here and start using like an at-home setup. It's stable. You've just a static setup, I guess, where you just kind of like sit down in front of it and you record or you stream and you're there. And I'm actually really digging this 8mm lens too. If you notice, it's got pretty good close focusing distance. I'm right on this thing, like right here, guys, right here. I just set this thing down on a tripod. I plug in the USB cable, and the only thing I need to worry about is audio. And I've got this turnstile tap 600 USB mic that you're listening to me on right now, and I'm good to go. You are gonna have to worry about some things like audio sync, depending on how you're recording, what you're recording into, things like that, but that's another story. Right now, you've got power and video out of one cable, one USB port for your audio. That's 2 USB ports, and you're good to go. You are off to the races, streaming or recording. How much better can you get than that, right? So this is really nice little package that lets you do a lot with it. And don't forget, you get that Fujifilm fun factor, right? They have the filter setting on that dial. You can do things like toy camera to stylize it, sepia tones, whatever style you want to go into, you can put it on here. And you also have the Fujifilm film simulations, which lets you try out things like Acros or Velvia, and they actually are dialed to look like the film stock that exists out there. So if someone likes to shoot analog and you like those films, you have it right here, just like the other Fujifilm cameras, and it'll apply to the RAW file, which is nice if you want that. So this is just a real feature-packed camera that lets you do a lot in a small package in the palm of your hand, and it's really hard to hate on this thing. It's also well thought out when you've got a mic port, so if you can hook up your own audio, if you want to put a shotgun mic on this or a lav, and you've got a headphone jack, which means you can monitor your audio. So if you're someone that has to self-film, you can hear your mic, drop those headphones and go, or someone can watch you and monitor the audio. I know there's a lot of cameras in the vlog category that don't have a headphone jack, and it kind of gets to be a pain point for some people. You don't have to worry about that here. And let's say you're taking some stills and you got someone that's backlit, you need some little bit of fill light, you don't have a speed light on you. It even has a little pop-up flash, which I think Fujifilm does the best job of like hiding their pop-up flash like discreetly in the camera body. It's a nice little feature to have when you need it. Your back's against the wall, you're still able to get that shot. Really, really nice touch, Fujifilm. I like it. And touching back to the autofocus and this 8mm lens, I ran up to some pups and right on the street really quick. I mean, some erratic pups that had no idea who I was, some fuzzy faces that were running all over the place, weren't sure of me. Well, the animal autofocus was staying with them as they were running around like crazy. I was able to get really close to that 8mm. I got some really cool stylized shots, just some really quick on the fly stuff, but I was able to do it really fast, not worry about anything. I'm talking seconds of time, and you get a shot of these animals that just jump around all over the place. Plus got some, the New York skyline in the background, which is really nice to put in there. When you have a wide angle lens like the 8mm, you're stylizing the pup, you're showing the environment, everybody wins, right? Yeah, so I don't know, I had a lot of fun with this thing. The XS10 was a great addition to the Fujifilm lineup, and now the XS20 is proving to just go that much further with the capability within the system. So if you guys have any question about my use with the XS20, hit me with a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer it with what I did with this thing today. And don't forget to hit like. It really helps out this video and this channel. If you guys learned anything from Adorama TV over the years, hit like. It really helps us out. And don't forget to subscribe and the bell so you get notified when we put up more videos like this. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Later.